Okay.
It's raining here, and
Wow.
our network is kind of poor.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah.
like I was saying, where can they invest in Lagos? Number one, they should look for a
Yeah.
place that has good documentation. I cannot stress that enough. Number two,
Okay.
they should look for a place that does not fall under any form of acquisitions. Now, Lagos lands are divided into different kind of categories. We have lands that have titles. We have lands that does not have titles, and we have lands that fall under acquisitions. Now, acquisition lands are lands that government are going to take full possession anytime they need it. So when we talk about where should they invest in Lagos, apart from the fact that the land must be strategic, number two, it must have good document because as far as Lagos state government is concerned, if you are buying real estate and you don't have good documentation, you don't have land, you don't have houses, and a lot of people are not
Mm.
even paying attention to that. Now, a lot of people have been asking the question. In fact, something happened recently. Um, a diasporan investor contacted me and she said she wanted to get a house in Lekki. Now, of all places, Lekki. Now, you understand very well that government concentration in Lekki is very, very massive. And that's why we're having demolitions. And the demolitions that are coming to Lekki are bigger. The ones that are happening right now are like child's play. As I'm talking to you right
Mm.
now, there are real estate developers building on drainage channels. There are real estate developers building without approval. There are real estate developers building without the right documentation. Now, when the situation will get to a point that it's going to be very, very intense. So when I say where should you invest, your the investment you want to do must have these three things. Number one, proper documentation. Number two, check. And number three, it must be free from every form of hindrance. Now, if a land, these three things, even if the land is facing the road or in the strategic location, it is danger. So, if I'm to invest in Lagos, these are the three key things that I'm going to pay attention. If a land has, or it has a land or a house has these three things, regardless of where they are in Lagos, they are good investments. So that's it, sir. That's it, sir.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. I think earlier you
Yes, sir.
pointed on the aspect of people being careful of any property close to drainage blockage.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
then you touched on the refuse anywhere there's refuse where there's no proper refuse management.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then
Let me. Okay. Let me explain that. Now, if you want to buy a property in Lagos, now because of the fact that the Lagos is heavily urbanized, like we have larger concentration of people in Lagos, and you cannot tell men looking at the location if the house is sitting on a drainage. You cannot tell if the place will be flooded.
yeah,
You cannot tell if the developer has the right documentation, and you cannot tell if the developer has all the necessary approvals. So one of the things you should do when you're buying real estate in Lagos basically is that you need the services of the of these three people. The first service is the service of a well experienced property lawyer. There are a lot of lawyers. There are a lot of lawyers, and I can tell you in this live session that a whole lot of people have made terrible real estate investments thanks to their lawyer. Now, there are seen instances whereby some lawyers put their own personal interest ahead of their investor. Are you with me, sir? So you need an experienced property lawyer, the one that is not selfish, and the one that can pay attention to the next to the proper documentation. Then the next thing is that you need the service of a surveyor. Now, what the surveyor does basically is that because Lagos is heavily urbanized, sometimes it is very difficult to tell if a property is sitting on a drainage. It is very hard to tell property is obstructing a canal or is obstructing a water channel. Now, when you look at the Qatar axis that was recently demolished by the Lagos State government, by the Minister of Education, that's the person of Mr. Tokumbo Lawal. Now, I've been driving past that Ikota axis, and I did not know that most of those houses are sitting on drainage channels. In fact, the way that we build house in Lagos, if you don't put in the service of a surveyor, you cannot know. You cannot know. So in most cases, what the surveyor does basically is that the surveyor will bring some of his tools, his equipment, to do what we call mapping of that area. So it is in the mapping of that area that he will be able to unravel where there is drainage, where there is waterways, where there is refuse blockage. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, sir? So
Yeah.
the surveyor the surveyor is very, very critical. In fact, there are some houses that someone wanted to buy a house last year December. I met this woman online. She wanted to buy a house last year December. Okay, and she sought for her service. The house is located somewhere around Thomas Estate. I won't go beyond that. And she loved this house. She loved this house, and she was like, "Okay, let's go check it out." She's not in Nigeria, so she sent her brother and one person in the family to go check. Now, I did not know, it was not clear to me that the brother that was sent to go and represent his sister has already made a deal with the house owner. Now, when I got to that house, now I hope you are aware that there's a Fort Milan Bridge coming up, and the Fort
Yeah.
Milan Bridge is going to cut across some portion of Thomas Estate in Aja. So some houses in Common Estate will go when they start demolition for the Fort Mainland Bridge. So when we got there, now I noticed that it's not what I can do on my own. So I had to seek for the service of my surveyor. The guy was far out, so he came. Now the first thing we observed basically was that the person that wanted to sell started acting violently. Like it was how do I put it out? Very, very, very his attitude was irritating. But to cut the long story short, the surveyor started working on doing his job. Now, 30 minutes into our search, we found out that the house is one plot away from a channel, from a drainage channel. And larger parts of the house is going to go when they start demolition for the Fort Mainland Bridge. Now, I wouldn't have known if I had gone there by myself. There's no way. There's no way I can. Now, in fact, there have been
Yeah.
instances whereby a real estate developer will give you a title document that this is the document for this property. What I'm trying to say is fact. When you were making those videos, I was like, it's like this man. Now, this happens to me. So when we collected the title documents for that property, the title document, the deed of assignment will be there, the survey will be there, and of course, if that's the governor's consent of C of O, all these things will be attached to the title document. Now, my surveyor said he knows this place very well. That for us to confirm on a survey, survey is like a blue document, a
Yeah.
blue copy document on the survey. So there's what we call coordinates on the survey. So when we saw the coordinates, my surveyor said, no, let us pick our own coordinates. Let us see if it correlates to what we have on these documents. So reluctantly, I said, okay, fine, pick. Now, to my greatest surprise, the coordinates we picked where the house was different to what was on the documents, was different. So they
Wow.
told us that the house is sitting on the governor's consent, and there is the coordinate on the consent. Every information was there. But when we checked, we found out that there's what we call flying of coordinates. In Nigeria, anything is possible. So they flight some information of a property that has a governor's consent that was not there into that document. So if you take it, like you have the governor's document, it will show that the house is governor's consent, but the governor's consent is not there. It's not on where the house is sitting. The governor's consent is another location. So that was how we found out. So I actually called the woman and said, number one, your property is sitting like one plot away from the canal, and larger part of your house will go when they start demolition for the first mainland bridge. Now, this was what happened, and that was how we were able to save that woman. So when we say a place is good for investment, like where should I invest? The only thing I would say basically is that in as much as fact that the property has matched those three descriptions I've said, it's a perfect investment, even if it's in Ogun State. So that's it,
Mm.
sir. I don't know if you have other question. That's it, sir.
Yeah, you really touched on a lot of things, and I appreciate you for that. There was
You're
something that you
welcome.
touched on when I was watching something from your channel, and I decided there's this estate that I got property from. I wouldn't call their name because currently we are still
Yeah, we're all
having
right.
our issues in court. Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay,
I call their name sometimes when I feel like, because we are already in court. There's no problem as long as I'm saying the truth and I have evidence of everything I say. So when I
exactly.
went through your channel at some point, you touched on something about master plan. I heard
Okay,
the
sir.
issue of master plan.
Yes,
I
sir.
heard the issue of master plan from your video, and then I decided to work on that particular statement. When I started doing
Okay,
some things, I called a lawyer to go through the old stuff that this governor CFO that we had, I don't trust it. Let us go through the master plan. And so I asked her to help me do certain due diligence. And
okay,
while she was doing her due diligence, we realized that there are certain plans that the government asked them to build or something like that was being required from them, like hospitals,
exactly,
like schools, like
ex-
drainages, like centralized borehole system. These were actually demanded by the government for this
exactly,
particular estate. But while we continued what we were doing, we realized that they've sold all the old property. In fact, the recreation center, I think they gave them about 2,000 square meter to to
exactly.
fit in the
To do
recreation
it,
center, and I realized that they've sold almost everything. So
everything.
yeah, this is kind of changing my mind towards the whole thing, because right now we had a plan of something we want to discuss, but the way you are
Okay,
sharing more light on this, it's kind of driving me to kind of say, okay, let me talk about the things that actually matters, that people are kind of scared of.
okay,
So
exactly,
you almost also, if I had not watched your video, I wouldn't know anything about that master plan. So we are also picking it up
ex-
with the state high court. So for the state high court to
okay,
work on the estate. So right now,
okay,
how do you discover that is this same thing applicable in Lagos, that you can easily get a master plan, and what are the procedures like to get a master plan and to make sure you can verify certain things within that particular real estate
okay,
organization one wants to invest in,
uh, uh,
and to make sure they are also
okay.
following up with the plans. Yeah,
With the plan, okay.
yeah,
For Lagos, for instance, the master plan is very, very obvious. Now, the only thing I would just that Lagos State government needs to do is to make it more accessible for people. Now, when we talk about the master plan, basically, your lawyer will be in the best position to confirm that because it varies location by location. Are we together? It varies. Like for instance, this government will say, let us situate it this year. Now,
yeah,
what you need to do basically that like for Etiosa, Etiosa is where we have the Lekki axis. I know that the master plan is always stipulated in fact, they actually consent and sign building approval if your drawings and your plan is in conformity with what government has planned for that. But in Lagos, in Nigeria, people manipulate, like you rightly said. Now, the ideal plan, if you want to erect a two-bedroom apartment in Lagos, is that it is always stated in the plan that you must have ample parking space. They will say, they might say, okay, from here, a parking space is like maybe 30 square meter, 100 square meter, depending. Now, as regarding the master plan, like I said, it varies. So your lawyer will be the one to unravel it. I can basically tell you that I'm more familiar with the Epe master plan, the Ibeju master plan, and some areas in the Shongotedo master plan. Now, for the master plan, how you can confirm is when you go to the site and pick up what we call the structural drawing and every other approval. Now, when a developer say, this is what I want to build, I want to build an estate of, let's say, maybe 5 units of duplexes. Now, as a investor, what you are supposed to do is to ask for his papers. A lot of people don't do that. They will just tell you, I want to buy. And you just say, okay, fine, because the realtor has convinced you, the realtor has done without the necessary thing. No, you have to confirm. And the reason for that basically is that when you ask for papers and you take that papers to the land registry or LASCA office in Alausa or the Surveyor General's office, they will confirm if the person is doing it in accordance to what the master plan for that area situates. Are we together, sir? So what will now happen basically is that it is your lawyer or your registered surveyor that can, in fact, like I said, Lagos State government has a lot of work to do making this thing accessible. The sad thing is that it's not accessible to everybody. It's not. And the way our system is, you have to know somebody before you can get approval or before you can have access to some important information. But to an extent, I think Lagos State government is beginning to wake up to all these things. But how you can know if the company is doing anything in accordance is when your lawyer asks for the master plan and it confirms the project in land registry in Alausa. So I hope that answered the question. I hope that answered the question.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. I appreciate you for that answer. We would later
Yes,
maybe
sir.
visit there. But
Okay, sir.
if we want to talk about properties currently in Lagos now, there's a
Okay.
kind of demand that people
Yes.
have. So,
Okay.
uh, and I always observe something that one of the things now that people are kind of announcing to people in diaspora is come and buy property in Ekpe. Ekpe is the best place.
Okay.
I don't know. I
Okay.
believe Ekpe is the extension of Lekki. And since
The
Ekpe
Lekki,
is
yes,
the
it is.
extension of Lekki, we see those areas being flooded every time. And so, what
Exactly.
is your insight on people investing in Ekpe area, or what other areas do you think are better for people to invest in?
Okay. Let's talk about Ekpe. Like I rightly said,
Yeah.
there is a plan that Lagos State government have for every region. Ekpe is a wonderful location, no doubt. Ekpe is like a fertile ground that everybody should take advantage on. However, Ekpe, an investment in Ekpe can be a nightmare for someone who doesn't understand the way the industry works. Now, basically, around February, March this year, we witnessed a lot of rapid rise of real estate development companies, and a lot of people are just doing everything in contrary to what the plan has. Now, I want to buy land in Epe. I want to invest in Epe. You need to look beyond the advert that is being projected to you. You need to look beyond the drone capture. There's a way they make those advert jingles and they do this beautiful drone capture. This wonderful graphic design that is catchy, something that you obviously don't want to resist. You need to look beyond that. Then you also need to look beyond the assurance that the realtor or developer is giving to you. Now, for some of my real estate investors that invested earlier this year, there's what we call an indemnity clause. Now, an indemnity clause is a legal term that clearly states that peradventure the real estate developer fails to live up with what he has promised. This is what will happen. If I buy a land from you, okay, and you fail to live up to the expectation, or Omonile, now Omonile issue is another section on its own. I won't be coming to that. But Omonile takes my land or government takes my land. The indemnity clause states that I will be refunded without any clash, without going to court, without going to the police, or you will give me another estate of equal value and the equal amount of the money. Ekpe is a wonderful location, like I rightly said, but you have to be careful when you're coming to Ekpe. Recently, the Lagos State government right now have took into Ekpe and they have started enforcing some basic regulations. Now, let me quickly tell you what you need to know about Ekpe investment. Now, my goal is not for you to say, come and buy, come and buy, come and buy. My goal is to open your eyes to some things you may not know. Ekpe lands are categorized into four major zones. Number one, we have the residential zone. Number two, we have the military zone. Number three, we have the agric zone. And number four, we have the forestry zone. Now, if you don't understand the zoning structure for Ekpe, you are just paying attention to the long, lengthy conversation that the people you will invest wrongly. Now, a realtor that's asking you, okay, to invest in Ekpe must, with proof, without any form of doubt, give you an insight to the zoning system you are in front of. Now, for each of the zones you are investing in Ekpe, there are consequences. I have to say this for each of the zones. Now, if you go and buy a land that is either military, forestry, or say you understand, forget it, that land is gone.
Yeah.
Now, what will now happen basically is that you will now approach government. Now, I know you have bought from a developer, okay? They have given you deeds, they are giving you everything. Those ones, they are baseless if you don't have access to your land. Now, if you have bought and you have bought any of these zones, you are going back to Alausa, Lagos State government, to rebuy the land from them. So before you buy a pair, let them show you the zone you are buying. There are lots of manipulations. I've seen it
Mm.
as now. One of the things they now do basically is that they will tell you that the land is freehold. Now, let me quickly say it live. Everybody's watching. I believe thousands of people are watching me online. Now, in the Lagos State land classification, what many people call freehold is not a title. Freehold is a status. Now, if I say a land is freehold, that means that the land is either zoned for residential or commercial purpose. Now, if it is a freehold, that means I can buy and approach Lagos State government for title, and within 3, 6 months to 1 year, I will get my C of O. That is freehold. That means the land is free. It is not under any form of acquisition. You can perfect your title. But if you are buying the military zone, the forestry zone, and every kind of zones, those ones are danger. Because the thing is that you will have to go through a process that we call ratification. And trust me, I don't know amount you have paid the developer, whether you bought the land for 3 million, you bought it for 2 million. Ratification, the last time we did ratification for someone, we paid 600,000, and we have not even started doing C of O yet. So ratification is costly, and the chances of them giving C of O sometimes is a 40-60 chance. So it's a risky situation. Now, all these things there, as I'm explaining to you, I know a lot of people will not like you for coming out telling you guys the truth, but we just have to say the truth. People need to hear and know this. Now, a lot of people have invested in the fair and they told them the land is freehold. On checking, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, freehold turned out to be a stronghold because the kind of acquisitions we discovered on the lands that have been sold to a lot of people is alarming. Like, Jesus, is like, I will ask my people that what exactly do we gain when we lie to people just because we want to sell? So if you have to
Mm.
invest in a pair, if the zoning is not commercial, residential, well, agreed, there are some agreed that you can rectify, but not all of them. So Ekpa is a good location. Understand the zone, understand the cost of doing title. Because see, if you buy land in Lagos and the title is not in your name, you don't have a land. Though. Government can come to me and tell you what you have bought is acquisition. And because of the fact that the title document is not in your name, your property can go. And you can't take government to court because there is a section of the Land Use Act, I think 1976 or 1979, I can't remember precisely, that says all land belongs to government. So it is until when government gives you a title that this C of O is on this so name, that's when you can say you have land. So Ekka is a good location. Pay attention to the zoning. Don't invest in the wrong
Mm.
zoning. Very important. Ibeju is a good location. The same thing is also applicable. In fact, we have a lot of lands that are committed acquisitions. The committed acquisition properties are properties that government have zoned. It doesn't matter the amount of millions you sell. You pay them, they won't give you that land. So committed acquisitions are lands that are no go area. Like when I say no go area, it doesn't matter what they've told you or the amount you have spent. If you buy it, it's gone. They have wasted your money because there's no way you get a title on it. So Ekpe is good, know the zone. Ibeju Lekki is good, know the zone. Um, Ijebu-Ode, a lot of realtors are going to, a lot of real estate development companies are going to Ijebu-Ode. But the most important thing is that before you invest, what you are buying. So
Mm,
that's where I'll stop. That's where
okay.
I'll stop.
Wow. I believe I wasn't expecting that you were going to dive into this so deep. But let's just move to the next one. And I really appreciate this
Okay.
insight because I wasn't as
Yes, please.
knowledgeable as you on this particular aspect. Definitely, I wasn't.
Certainly.
But I was asking a question also. I think there should be a follow up question, which is what types of property
Okay.
currently are in high demand that you think are safe for people to invest in? In what area in Lagos do you think is more safer for people to invest in rather than everybody paying attention to Ekpe? Because I looked at a particular real estate that was advertising this same particular people that I'm talking about, and they started advertising real estate at Ekpe. They were even selling it for over 40 million a plot of land. And I was looking at it like
Okay.
where they are even videoing the stuff, they are not far from the express road. And I'm like, I don't know, but at least there are certain informations I have about certain distance you're supposed to have when you're talking about
Exactly.
express junctions. Yeah. So
Certainly.
where do
Okay.
you now think that people can actually invest in Lagos that is a little bit more safer for people to put in their investment?
If you want to invest in
Did
Lagos, if the land
yeah,
has the title, C of O, governor's consent, gazette. These three titles you can buy
yeah,
and there's nothing to be scared about. So anywhere in Lagos, if there is a title that you can verify, I'll say it again, gazette, C of O, governor's consent. Now for Ekpe, now for most of those Ekpe lands, okay, most of them, it's just few lands in Ekpe that has C of O. But if you can get a C of O in Ekpe, it's good. However, if you cannot, if there are a lot of investors who say, okay, fine, I can buy, then perfect it myself. If that's what you want, the land has to be residential. It's not, if this is not residential, they say it is residential. The surveyor has to give you a report showing that the land is residential. Now, land facing the express are hotcake, but if you are investing, you must understand that the developers have to leave the required setback. Now, for lands that are beachfront lands, they are also hotcake. We also what happened to landmark. Now, there are some
yeah,
number of setbacks that government requires. If it's a sea, I think it's between 30 to 50 or 60 square meter as setback. If it's a lagoon, it's 30 square meter as setback. If it is facing the express, I think it's between 50 to 100 meters. But, so the setback varies. Despite the fact that they have a title, if they are not measuring that specified required number of setback, there is danger because governments here in Lagos are not predictable. So places you can invest, Ekpe is good, confirm what I've told you. If Betileki is good, titled property only. Anywhere in Songotedo, fantastic. Aja, fantastic. But if you're in those areas, you have to invest more on due diligence. Like the kind of due diligence we do on those areas, okay, basically to ensure and to protect the interest of the investors. So these areas, the Korodu axis, springing up wonderful. Then Ijebode and some part of Ogun State and Ibadan are equally good. But just
yeah.
ensure that they are paying attention to those things. So if a property has a good verifiable title document, it's a good investment. It is. It is a good investment. It's a good
Okay.
investment.
Yeah, I think with what you've shared, anyone with a common sense would know how to be very skeptical and to do their due diligence whenever they want to invest in Lagos
Certainly.
with the information you
Certainly.
just dropped. Yeah. Uh, so I want to know, do you have properties that you think that you want to that are available that people can invest their money in, and you have already done all this what do you call it, doing all the old necessary research, and these people can also do the verification
Okay.
of those particular documents at where did you call the name again? I've forgotten the name of the place you verify
Okay.
in Lagos there. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's the name of the
there are
place?
several. I've verified Epe. I've verified Ibeju Lekki.
Yeah,
I've verified some couple of places, and because of the fact that I love transparency, and I love the fact that I don't like to be caught unaware. If a real estate investor shows an interest in any property, I can also make the title document available. Go and do your own verification as well. Like, go and check. It's not a do or die affair. I've seen instances
yeah.
whereby a real estate company calls me. They called me into a secret meeting, like, and they said, "You better stop what you're doing. You're spoiling business for us." So for a while, I was not on YouTube for like 3 weeks. Now, the reason basically why I said that is that that's why when I come online, I don't mention names. So I cannot say buy this property, buy this property, buy this property, because the online sphere right now is a very, very tedious sphere where we have different kind of people dropping opinions, and they can say, you said we should buy this, you said we should buy this. Now we thought there's issues. Now the
Yeah.
thing is that the way I work is that if you show interest in a property, for instance, I want to buy this property in Ibeju Lekki. Now I'll say, okay, fine. Let's walk through the process of verification. Okay. Now, if we go through the process of verifications, my lawyers are working, your lawyers are also working. So we will ensure that we're on the same page and we're saying the same thing. Now, basically, Ibeju is a good place to invest. If you want to invest, now I don't want to mention brand name because I'm being careful here. There are lots of them that are verified that are safe, but if I get a private message, I can give a list of recommendations. I cannot come on and say this person, this person, this person, this person. It's not safe, to do such, considering the security situation of the country. But for an investor who is watching, who say, okay, fine, what should I do? I can say, okay, fine. These are the brands, or these are the list of properties I've searched their documents. This is what my lawyers have said. This is what my surveyors have said. But for your own verification, you can go ahead. Are you with me, sir? So when it comes to investment, there are some places that is good in Ibejuleki, there are places that is good for a pair. I have them personally. I can send it to anyone who is interested to check. There are some places that are good in the Shongotedo axis. Now, a lot of residential projects are coming on the Shongotedo, the Ramadesanya axis. But if you are buying Lekki, you have to do an intense due diligence, because what I've just gotten right now is that the Lagos state government right now are reshaping the Lekki master plan. Larger places of Orchid will go. Some places on Osaka. So a real estate investor who's watching this now, this is a clue. Saying basically that pay attention to some of these places before you buy. Please get your property lawyer and your registered surveyor to confirm, because there's going to be a reshaping. And the reason why Lekki is being reshaped basically is that the coastal road that is currently being constructed right now is going to cut across some places, and there's going to be an extension of the road from the Admiralty face that will be linking up to that coastal road. So a lot of plans are being done. Now, one of the things many people don't understand basically is that if you're buying Lekki, Lekki is a good location, but buy what you have checked. Buy what you have checked. Buy what you have verified. Don't be cajoled or swayed by what this person has said. me, for instance, if anybody wants to check, I won't say I know them, they've done well. I've checked a particular brand, and what I saw was, I don't know how to express it. To say the statement is an understatement. I was shocked. Like, you mean a company of this reputation can be involved in something like this? So so you have to check. So Lekki is a good place to invest. Ajah is a good place to invest. Shongotedo is a good place to invest. Abramadisa is a good place to invest. Ekpe is a good place to invest. Any parts in Lagos is a good place to invest. So, do I have listings in those places? Yes, we have couple of some like not many like some that we know that their paperwork is good and they won't put you into trouble when you invest. So that's it, sir. I don't know if I've
Oh,
answered that question.
yeah, thank you very much. But before we proceed, I
You're
need to
welcome.
give a shout out to one of my member. She just
All right.
spent $20, and this has been one of
Wow.
my yeah. I opened my channel, got to a place where maybe I can monetize certain things like super chat and
Okay. Wow.
conversation. But Miss D, I recognize you. I appreciate you for the $20 chat. So let's move straight to the next
Okay.
and the sizes. Can you provide details on the prices, the locations you have property, and the size of the properties you have currently?
Okay. Okay. There are several. Um, we have some areas in Lagos, but most of the details, there is one presently that is being sold in the immortalities of Ikorodu, available in 300 square meters, 500 square meters, and 1,000 square meters. Then we also have it in Ekpe. Ekpe mostly are sold in 300 and 500 square meters. Of course, we have few um lands there. Then there's also one in Ekpe as well. That one has a C of O. We have it in 300 square meters and 500 square meters. Now, I'll just give a general price range, okay, because of our time, I won't be able to give a holistic prices. Now, for the C of O
Yeah,
property in Ekpe, the 500 is currently selling for 18 million. Like I said, it's a titled property. Then we also have some that doesn't have title yet, but they are residential. They are within the range of 6.6, 6.5 flexible payment plan. The real estate developers are credible, very, very credible. But like I said, okay, get involved. You can also check and verify by yourself. You can also check, you can send your property lawyers. Then we have some couple of projects in the Ajaya Pata Agris of Shogotedo, which is called the Solari Residence. We also have a flexible payment plan. Basically, we also have in the Oduaji Agris of Ijebu, yes, Oduaji Agris of Ijebu, the range of 2 million, 2.5, all inclusive. You can get some properties there. Verified property, registered survey. But one thing I should explain basically is that if you're buying a titled property in Lagos, they are very, very pricey. They are. Now, a titled property is more or less like the developer has done the entire work. It's just given for you to acquire. So
yeah.
if he has done all the necessary approval, it's causing all the policy of who, which your lawyer can check. And of course, he's saying, okay, this is what I have. I'm selling it to you. However, if you are buying an untitled property, maybe a residential plot of land that doesn't have a C of O, and of course you can get your C of O, what you spend in getting that C of O will be almost, the same price of what the developer is selling. However, it varies on the timing of when you are doing your document. Now, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Now, if you have bought untitled properties in the like you have bought freehold, the freehold I explained, not some of the freehold that is being advertised. So I have to clearly state that I'm not talking about the freehold as well. I'm telling you a freehold that is residential. Okay, if you can afford to go into it now for less than 2 million, 2.5, you get your C of O. Now, this is the present rate that which government are charging for C of O. As of last year, when we did some couple of C of O from some real estate investors, it was between 1.5 to 2 million as of last year. But right now, it's between 2 million, 2.5, 2 million, 3 million right now. So we honestly cannot tell the price it will be here. And one thing about the Lagos real estate market is that the longer you wait, okay, to do your title documentation, the more pricey it becomes. So if you can afford to do that, so we have in a fair, I've given the price range. We have in at Shongotedo, we have in the Axis. So there are good properties you can invest in. Okay, if you are interested, it's transparent. We send the title document to you. Your lawyer checks if it's okay, and we can sit down and say, okay, fine. This is how I want to pay. This is the payment plan that is available for me. But basically, what I would just recommend basically is that once you have found something that matches to your budget, you can go for it. One thing is very certain. I will not fold my hands and watch you get scammed. Certainly, I won't. So that's it. I
Yeah,
hope that has answered the question, sir.
yeah, that has answered the question. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I want
you're
to ask
welcome, sir.
the next question, but I would have loved
Yes,
to
sir.
ask this particular question about this global C of O of a thing and
Okay,
C of
okay,
O. Is it kind of necessary that even if you get from a real estate organization and they give you a global C of O, is
okay.
it necessary? Do you think that someone can still go ahead doing any C of O? But I think that the global C of O has already covered that particular location.
Okay.
Do you think there's
Okay.
anything maybe important in anyone going to get any C of O or to do certain
Okay.
verification and say probably I want to do C of O of my own property or something like that?
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for that question. Um, if the land has a global C of O, before you accept that the global C of O, check and confirm if the global C of O is there. Now, I've seen instances
Okay.
whereby a real estate development company, this happened around uh 2019. The developer right now, as I'm talking to you right now, is in the UK. Okay.
Is in
Now,
is
you,
in
he's in the UK. He's in the UK. He has jackpot.
all right. All
He's
right.
in the
It
UK.
seems I know
So
the person. It's
this was what happened. So this guy sold a property, and the entire property was advertised as global CFO. So people, out of the excitement, rushed it. The property is located somewhere around the Lekki axis. No, the Ibeju Lekki axis. Now, a lot of people rushed into it. They bought it. So now, how we got to find out the scam? Okay. Now, I had somebody that wanted to buy. The woman has already paid before contacting me. So she said, this particular estate. Then, as at that time, the developer was selling 5 million per plus. Okay. So the woman said, okay, we should swing into action. So we got there. Now, when we were done checking this C of O that they called global C of O, and they used it to sold large expanse, my brother, can you believe that it was just only 1 acre of the entire estate that was under the sea of O? 1 acre. 1 acre. So it's just 1 acre, the sea of O of 1 acre that was used to sell large acres of land. So what happened to the people basically is that people got scammed. That one was like broad daylight robbery. So when I told the woman, she said, what do I advise? I said, withdraw. Don't even, it's not something you have to think twice, just withdraw. So when information got leaked, the man has made money. Like, he made kind of money. So he left the country. God knows where he is right now. He's no longer in the country. There was a time they said EFCC was looking for him. Well, maybe if they find him, sha. Now, the thing is that if a land genuinely has a C of O, a global C of O covering the expanse of land, the first thing you want to do basically is that you want to confirm if your plot is inside that C of O. If they have allocated it
Hmm.
to you, okay, this is your land, okay, this is your
Yeah.
house, okay, there's a global C of O covering the property, the first thing
Yeah.
you must do as an investor is confirm if your own plot or your own house is inside the C of O. Now, if you have confirmed and it is inside that C of O, now the way the Land Use Act work basically is that in Lagos, Nigeria, I don't know for all states, in Lagos, Nigeria, government only recognize those whose name is on the title. In
Hmm.
Lagos, Nigeria, government only gives recognition to those whose name is on the title. Now, the global seal of vote could be in the name of the company. Now, with the seal of vote, it is safe. Oh, I'm not saying it does not, it's not safe. It is. If you have confirmed and it's there, it is safe. But peradventure in the future, if you want to sell or your children wants to sell and the buyer wants to do a verification, now the seal of vote they will search will not be in your name, it will be in the name of the company you have bought from. And that is why it is always advisable that if you have bought a global sea of old land, it is important you process a governor's consent title in your name. So with your governor's consent title, the land is now registered in your name. So if you someone wants to confirm if the property belongs to you, once they pick the necessary information and they take it to the land registry, the moment they input the information of the title will be showing that this land has been given to you. I
Hmm.
hope you're following, sir. So once
Yeah.
that has been done, you have secured that property forever. So it becomes so if a land has a global CO, I'll say don't stop there. Go ahead, go further, get a governor's consent and secure that investment. So that is the dichotomy between the global CO and the governor's consent. So if you have bought, regardless of the company you bought from, the developer, I usually say it's 2 million, 1.5 million, you can get the governor's consent. It's easier. If you have the right person to do it, you get it done, do it, and know that you have closed that chapter. So I hope that answers the question, sir. I hope that
Yeah.
answers the
Yeah.
question.
That answers the question. So that means even despite the
Yes, sir.
fact you have a global C of O, it's important you have governor's consent title.
Consent,
That's
yes.
for your
That's
own
when you register the
location.
title. That's when you register the
Yeah.
title in your name. That's when the land
Okay.
becomes fully yours and is recognized under the law. Yes, please.
All right. While we start rounding up for today, which I
Okay.
think that I'm going to be appealing to you that we are definitely we should make out another time to come back
Certainly.
live and to continue and
Certainly,
work
sir.
on this because I'm learning more. I thought just
Certainly, bro.
defrauding me and I did certain research. Maybe I had some knowledge about some things, but the way you went
I know
in
there's a
depth, I
lot.
think that if people have this information, they can invest safely.
Mhm.
Even if they did not invest
Exactly.
with you, like they can go around their life
Exactly.
investing safely because it's a
And
painful
get
thing when you
returns.
see people in
Yes, my brother.
diasporas, work their ass off in the UK, in the US,
And they fall
everywhere, and
into
they come back to the country and they can't afford anything.
and
So it's a very painful thing. I'm really
exactly.
appreciating of
It
this
is.
information you are sharing to me.
Thank you for
Today, let's just
thank you.
talk on this. How long does it take if someone wants to buy property? How long does it take for you in your
Okay.
organization? How long does it take for one to be able to get property once the person is having their fund? And secondly, maybe you add it up with this particular question. Do you think it's also
Okay.
advisable? Do you think it's also advisable for people to buy property on installment? Or it's better
Okay.
for people to have their full cash with them before they buy
And get
property?
it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The process of getting a property, it differs. It differs. Now, there are some places in Lagos whereby if we can conclude our due diligence within 24 to 48 hours, it's done. You can pay, have the title documents, have everything sent to you. But there are some places where we have to go to the cradle. More importantly, in those places are crisis prone area. I have to be very, very certain here. Now, what do I mean by that? You see, uh, there was a scenario of something that happened to us. And in a diasporan, most of the people I've been dealing with are mostly diasporan. She bought a property and they told us that property was gazetted. And the document that was given to her was showing that the property was gazetted, but she did not have access to the land. The other time she sent someone there to check the properties, and some Omomele boys pounced on the person, and the person was beaten black and blue. Now, there is a scenario where the people they call the Ajagunbales. These are people that are heavily involved in land issues and crises. Now, there are some
Yeah.
estates, okay, that if these guys are involved, just know that that property is gone because these guys are heavily protected. If you take their case to the federal house, they will tell you there's nothing they can do. so, so scenarios whereby we have to carefully do a background check to know. Because the thing is that if you have paid the real estate developer, okay, or you have paid the Omodile, whichever person you are buying from, it is difficult, okay, to get your money. In fact, in some cases, you won't even get your complete money. They will say they deduct administration fee. Some are charging 30%, some are charging 40%. So you don't get your exact money. So one of the things we do basically is that there are areas that somebody will say, I want to buy. We tell you, don't go there. Like, don't go there. Now let me show you this. I don't know if you're seeing this. This is a scar on my wrist.
Hmm.
This is a scar. This was the cutlass that was coming straight to my head. It was property I went to check in 2020. I had to use my hand to protect. So the cutlass landed on my head. This happened somewhere around the Odemi axis of Ibeju, Lekki. So there are some places that the investors just have to be patient. They have to do a thorough check to know if that area. There are some places you will buy in Lagos you won't be able to use. You won't be able to use. So in this scenario, there are places where you can do a check within 24 hours. They tell you go ahead with the payment. You can buy. There are some places where you give us 1 week, give us 5 days, give us 3 days. Now, this basically is to ensure that we are saying go ahead. When we are saying go ahead, we are saying go ahead because we have checked all these things that needs to be checked. Are you with me, sir? So, and it's also dependent on the company. How long a property transaction should go on for maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, 1 day or 2 days. It's also dependent on the company. There are some developers today, they are so connected to the point that if they swindle you, there's nothing you can do. All through last year, we've been going to court. We took a particular real estate developer to court. Okay, I have to say this online. And because of the fact that this guy was so connected, he was just adjourning for 6 months. We had several, there will be a case they will say the lawyer is not in court, the judge will adjourn. This person is not in court. So we were the ones that were forced to put, say, let us, settle out of court. So to
Yeah.
avoid all these problems, there are instances where we have to just go deep. But this doesn't happen on all the property investment because we have done what we needed to do. We can say, okay, fine, this one you can go ahead. But most times, if investor is coming out like she's the one or he's the one bringing this property, I'll say, I don't know this person. No. Let us check this. Let us check this. So the duration basically is dependent on number one, the property, number two, the area, and number three, the real estate development company. So ordinarily, if all these things are not there, 24 hours, 48 hours, you can buy a property, you can invest in property if the search comes out good. Now, and for the installments, can a real estate investment investor buy in installments? Well, it's dependent on the company you're buying from, oh, my brother, my sister watching this video. It's solely dependent. Now, if it is a house, like an off-plan project, um, sometimes before I would say buy in installments, uh, in most cases, okay, the real estate development company must have track record of integrity. That one is very crucial. So there are some places where somebody has said, even some of my colleagues, they will say, this person is doing this off plan. No, he said we should come and pay for. In fact, anything off plan, if it is 24 months, 18 months, run for your life. Don't go. Don't even think of it. In this
24
present
months.
economy. If it is
Yeah.
24 months, 18 months, and it's the house, run. When you say run, no, don't even think of it. That's number one. The
Yeah.
maximum installment, if it's a building project that you are doing, if it exceeds 12 months, no DM. Like, I won't advise you. And in some cases, I've had instances whereby some real estate investor will say, can I buy with this property? If it is possible for you to pay even before that 12 months so that you can be allocated, it is better. So it is very important that if you want to do installments, you have to do it with a company that has integrity. Integrity. If it is off plan with the current economic situation in Nigeria right now, a lot of real estate development companies will struggle to deliver off plan. So sometimes I usually recommend that if you must buy off plan, buy it from a developer that has secured a loan that will use to start and finish the project. So that when you are finished payment, they can allocate you. Not from a developer that is waiting for your monthly installment before they can buy cement, before they can buy on road. That one is not even, you don't even need a soothsayer to tell you. That plan or that project will end up in disaster because by the time you have paid what they bought cement last month, will setting up with now. What they bought this, and you have to be careful. So, are there some real estate development companies that you can do off plan with? Yes, only those that have reputation, those have, in fact, I usually say it before you pay, tell them to insert an indemnity clause in your contract of sale. So if I don't deliver within these 12 months, within these 6 months, I will return your money with you. Now, if you have that kind of agreement with them, they will be under their toes to deliver. But if there's no indemnity clause, there's no legal clause protecting you, they're just throwing your money into thin air. So should I do installments? Do it with somebody that have done several successfully. I won't mention names, but do it for somebody that have done it and it is successful. Now, on the issue of testimonial, a lot of investors will say, we saw a video uh, where this person has, was giving testimonial, this developer in Nigeria. I've seen instances whereby people are being paid to give testimonials. Oh. So don't be fooled.
Yeah.
They hire
Yeah.
people to say, okay, just good thing, just a good thing. So if you must do installments, let me say it again. Do it from somebody. Now, there's a way we value and, of course, determine the strength of a real estate development company their way. So that's
Mm.
obviously a topic for another day. Today, obviously, we don't give you the time to explain. But if I want to say, okay, buy from this company, there are a lot of things we have put into consideration. There are lots of investigation. In fact, we go as far as unraveling the capital and the income that is coming to that company on a daily basis. Those are the facts, those are the statistics, those are the requirements to say, okay, partner with this. But when it comes to installment, don't buy from everybody. You investor, don't buy from everybody. Choose some. Okay. Can you do less
Yeah.
installments? Yes. But not with from everybody. I hope that has answered the question.
Yeah,
I'm deviating.
that has
I don't want to
answered.
deviate.
That has actually answered
Yes.
the question. I think what we are going
Yes.
to do is we are going to make out another time for us to
Okay.
actually work on this subject, and we have to expand on it. I was thinking it's just something
Okay.
little that we can just easily cover, but the
Exactly.
moment you begin to dive deeper, it's like no, 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 it's not a day. It's not just a day subject.
Certainly.
So
Certainly it's not.
yeah. So what I'm
Certainly.
going to say is, if you're watching me live and you're part of my subscribers, please go to King Scott TV on YouTube, King Scott TV. I'm going to be putting the link on the description so you can join him. Those people who have been most of my audience who have been asking me about, I want to get property in Lagos and all of that, just go to King Scott TV. You are going to be having the link there, and then subscribe to him. His number is always mostly on all his shorts and all of that, and most of his videos, so you can always contact him, and you can do a lot of verification and follow up while we have this
Exactly.
conversation. So we are going to be summarizing with this. How can people get
Okay.
in touch with you? You give us today, and I'm pleading. I don't know if you can you're going to think, and maybe after today's show, we can have time and discuss. So you can tell
Of course, we
me
can.
when you're going to be
We
available,
can.
and so we can continue on this
Okay.
also. Yeah.
Certainly, we can have this. We can have this. We can have this. Maybe by the end of this month, third or
Okay.
final week of July, we should. There's a lot of people need to understand. I've been in this industry for this is my year, so I've been through thick and thin, and I understand a whole lot. And there's a lot that people can understand, they can, work with. Okay. Yes, we can. Okay, how can you get across? On all my videos, my contacts are there, my email
Yeah.
address are there. You can get across to me, we can work together. Now, let me also say this openly because I'm a very transparent person. If I should come online to say that I'm the one doing all this verification, then I'm not being sincere. I have a lot of people we work with. Now, the thing of verification is not what a man can do. One person cannot. If anybody's saying, I've seen, well, let me check this property, nah, lie. In fact, so we have in my team, we have three registered surveyors. We have two property lawyers that we work with. Then we have some couple of people in Alausa that help us with title perfection. Like, for instance, I want to do a governor's consent. I'm not saying we should start bringing your but I'm saying basically that there are some couple of officers that we work with. We have direct contact with some notable officers in Alausa. So that's why we can tell you the land is committed. You don't need to go and stretch yourself from the
Yeah.
updated master plan. We can tell you this. So we don't do this alone. So in the long and short of everything is I cannot personally do it. Most times I'm in the office recording content, doing a lot of inspections, always on the road. So there are some verifications that some of my surveyors have to be there. A lot of people are there. So we're a team. We work together, and of course, we get the best for you. Now, basically, if you want to work with us, now there are instances whereby you tell us this is property you want to buy, and by the time we are done with verification and then we find out that that property is in danger, so we don't impose. We certainly don't impose. It's on your anything that you want to do. We give you the fact, we give you the date, and of course sometimes too, we usually write sign an agreement. So like there's problem, we say if this person that may be bad. So we tell you this is what this thing is saying. These are the chances of danger. It's a 50-50 chance. If it's something you want to do, up to you. But we don't superimpose. And basically, one of the things we do basically as King's Court basically is that several years ago, my elder brother in Oklahoma was swindled. He bought a property in the Alagbado Agris of Lagos. This was around several years ago. As I'm talking to you right now, the case is still in court. Now, if it's a case that has to do with property, see, dear real estate investors, there are some developers that they will frustrate you. You go court, tire. So my brother was swindled, 12 billion naira at that time. He didn't see the land. We started going to court. We got tired of going to court and we stopped it. And that's why I said this happened to my brother. It should not happen to everybody. When we come online to say this is what is happening, this is what is doing, we are not just saying it because we want to impress you. We have gotten past the level where we want to impress. We tell you the way things are. For people
Yeah.
that have dealings with them, tell you the way things are. And that's why sometimes the people have said this. I said, this person I know him, this developer, I've worked with him this so time, this is what has happened. If you want to go ahead, this is what you should expect. So that is it. So basically, our goal is to ensure that you don't get swindled, putting on the right team. And of course, Mr. Man of Thoughts, the cost
Yeah.
of doing verifications is very expensive. Getting a surveyor online to help you pick coordinates, to help you ascertain boundaries, to help you ascertain, the setback and the like, it costs a lot of money. So, but it is better to do the right thing than to get swindled. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Okay. So I'm going to be putting your link on my description, and everyone who wants to subscribe would subscribe to you, and people are
you.
definitely going to get in touch. I really
No problem,
appreciate
sir.
your time. with
Thank you very
us.
much, sir.
And
Thank you very much,
your phone
sir.
number, definitely, we are going to be including your contact and your
All
email
right, sir.
address
No problem.
and every other thing.
Thank you
So
very much.
thank you very much.
Thank
But
you
there is
very
a
much.
question I'm going to
You're
ask
welcome.
before we leave. There was a point you touched on,
Okay.
and you said there's this what do you call it? There's a name you call it, like contract, and within that contract, it's about if I don't deliver, I
Okay, an
would
indemnity
settle you
clause.
without going to court. And I'm
An
like,
indemnity clause.
yeah. So in this Nigeria, is there something like that? And do they hold on to stuff
Yes.
like that? Because sometimes you're
Yes.
going to write
Yes.
those contracts and a lot of people will just come up with different kind of
No.
abracadabra.
Now, concerning this indemnity clause, the reason
Yeah.
why we mostly insist on it is that when a real estate developer knows that you're signing an indemnity clause with you and is under the obligations that it's either it delivers or it pays you the exact money, that contract, okay, will enable them to do the right thing. Honestly, they will. In fact, the moment any developer that wants to swindle you won't sign it. That's just a fact. Any real estate developer who has an ulterior motive won't sign it. Won't sign it. There are a lot of people that we have gotten indemnity clause for. And today I can tell you that it is because you see, in our industry in Lagos, not generally in Lagos, generally in Nigeria, people find it extremely difficult to deliver what they've been paid to do. And there have been instances whereby we've been out of this police station, that police station, this court, that court. Now, there are instances whereby you will get to a point you are tired because there is no obligation that is compelling the real estate developer to do it. Now, to that real estate investor watching this video, the moment you have a doubt about a real estate developer and you are saying, I want an indemnity clause to be included. Now, it's either included on the contract of sale, on the deed of assignment. It should not be included in your subscription form because subscription form are subject to be changed. I'm saying this, they are subject to be changed. But if it's on your contract of sale, on your deed of assignment, signed, I can assure you that the developer will always be on the stones to do what? To deliver. And this is where you have your doubt. If you cannot put it, we're not doing this. And that is how we've been able to safeguard some of the people who have invested through us. So you can speak to your lawyer about it. The lawyer will tell you more. But if it's included in your contract, I can tell you that the developer will be compelled to deliver, knowing what he has signed.
Yeah.
So that's it,
I,
sir.
I would
Yes.
love to give you your time. I think we've spent
Yes, sir.
a lot of time
More than
here,
enough.
but I would ask this last question. Maybe you can just make it brief.
Yes.
The question
Okay.
would be that there was a lady who spoke to me. She got my contact from YouTube, and she's in Nigeria. She
Okay.
came from the UK, and she invested in Lagos, and she was having
Okay.
certain challenges. So she called me. I think she
Okay.
was already done with the old stuff, and she was telling me that
Okay.
it's important for me to advise those in diaspora that whenever they are investing in Nigeria, it is important that they come and see their investment
Okay.
themselves. What's your take on that? And that will be my last
Well,
question.
it's dependent on the investor. You know the way their work schedules are. Some can't just come because they have to keep up with their sheets and the like. Most times, what I do recommend for real estate, more importantly, that are even buying houses. See, if it's a land, you can afford to do your land anywhere you are in the, wherever you are across the world. A land basically definitely will appreciate and if it is a house, if you cannot come, you must have somebody that must be there, the house. Now, the reason why I'm
Yeah.
saying this, basically, I'm going to make it brief. The fact that there was a case of a lady too that bought property and they allocated her to a particular fund. Now, because of the fact that she was not there for a very long time, they changed it. Someone who paid the highest bidder. Now, so there was a lot of confusion. Now, one of the things I do basically is that for all the off-plan projects that I have commended that are sold for people, I'm always going there on a weekly basis almost all the time. And the reason why I'm doing this basically is, see, Nigerians can be very, very funny. Now, if you cannot be there, have somebody that can represent you. Have somebody. Now, the reason why sometimes people are always reluctant to represent in diaspora because most of those investors are not, in reality to what is happening in Nigeria. There was a case of someone that came, he said the brother sent him, and the guy came all the way from Akute. You know how Akute is, down to Ibeju,
Yeah.
Lekki. And we were having a conversation with the brother, and brother was saying, when the last time I was in Nigeria, let me use Yoruba, 5,000 before motor. So and it's like Kano can definitely take it to Aja. The situation here is crazy. So a lot of diasporans, some of them, some, please, I don't want to be misquoted, some don't treat people who represent them well. And that is why it makes it easier for developers to manipulate and pseudo them. So please, have somebody. If you're not in Nigeria, basically, and you have and you cannot come down, have somebody that will regularly check the project to have come to ensure that they are using the right materials, the right infrastructure. In fact, there are instances of building defects. There are instances of what I paid was different from what I got. Those ones are there. So if you have somebody that can check and give you adequate reports, you can invest. You can.
All right. Thank you very much. You used a statement
Yes,
there
sir.
when you said there are some properties that have defect. Like one of the property I bought, just a two-bedroom apartment. I bought a two-bedroom apartment. The only thing I can entrust in that apartment is the sliding window. Every other thing I had to
Wow.
change it. So I
Most times it's always like that. It's always like that.
Yeah. So, Mr. Adejare Ademola, I
Yes,
appreciate you
sir.
for joining us today.
Thank you, sir.
Um, we hope to
Yes, sir.
have more of you on this channel. And please, all my
That's
subscribers,
great.
please you can go to King Scott TV and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for joining us
Thank you,
today.
sir.
Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
And to
Thank you,
my
sir.
fans out
And
there,
you too, sir.
adios, amigos. We are going to see
Thank
you
you.
next time. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.